My sister didn't invite me to her wedding because I'm adopted, but my parents are asking me to grow up and help her pay off her wedding debts. No, it's not going to happen. My name is Sydney. I'm 27 years old and I'm living a good life on my own. A life I've built thanks to my hard work and the support of my fiance, Luke. You're probably wondering, what about my family? I haven't had the best relationship with them, and they're also the reason I'm here, coming to you for advice. I guess we should start with a little context before getting into the reason I'm actually here. As I mentioned before, I haven't exactly had the best relationship with my family. It's complicated, and it's been that way for as long as I can remember. I was adopted by my parents, the Hensons. When they couldn't have children of their own, it was clear they didn't want me because of who I was. They just wanted to fill the void in their lives that came from not having a child of their own. Don't get me wrong, I'm being ungrateful. Honestly, I can't thank them enough for choosing me and giving me a somewhat better life than I could have had at the orphanage. But when you think about it, it really wasn't that different. However, I was grateful to them. For the first few years of my life, things were good. Even good. It's not that they spoiled me or anything, but I didn't lack love, and that was enough for me. I mean, it was much more than what I received at the orphanage, so I was satisfied. But everything changed when I was about 4 years old. Basically, my mother miraculously got pregnant, and suddenly, everything changed. I won't remember the exact moment, but I know it was as if I had become invisible overnight. They were delighted with the new baby, Yanis, my little sister. I was happy to be the older sister, of course, but from the moment Yanis was born, I felt like I no longer existed. You'll see how much I felt. I admit it hurt a lot. They didn't say it exactly, but it became completely obvious that they didn't want me anymore. It was like I was just the substitute until Yanis came along and claimed her place in the house. It was like the idea of me being there was a mistake they now had to live with. I felt like a burden, a mistake they regretted and couldn't change. And for a girl who just wanted to feel loved, wanted, and important, they really hurt me. I wanted to keep things the way they were, to stay connected to them, but it was like I was holding on to something that was never really there. The harder I tried, the more they pushed me away, like I was some kind of inconvenience. It's not like they were torturing me or anything. They kept paying for my things, but it was clear they were only doing it because they had no other choice. They didn't need to do much to stop this lasting effect. The emotional lack, the feeling of being unwanted, all of it was enough to traumatize me for life. Even Yanis, whom I considered my own sister, she always treated me like I was nothing more than a stranger. Just a baby when she came into my life, but as I grew older, it became clear that she never saw me as part of the family. She barely looked at me, and when she did, it was with the same indifference you would give to a neighbor who simply doesn't matter. I don't want to sound like a victim here, but it's really hard growing up feeling like you were a burden and that no one in your family cared if you were there or not. So I guess you understand why I started to distance myself from my family. When I was just a teenager, things just felt easier that way. And I didn't have to worry about being unwanted for anyone. I spent a lot of time alone or with friends, and it was clear that I was never going to get the attention or the affection I needed from my parents. Sometimes I felt like it would have been better if they had never adopted me. I mean, it seemed like they adopted me just to ignore me and act like they didn't care. That hurt a lot. I know what's worse, not having a family or having one that doesn't care if you exist or not. For me, it's worse. The second was worse because I lived in the hell of constantly feeling unwanted. So as soon as I turned 18, I left home and distanced myself from my family. I didn't cut them off completely, but we still talked, but I wasn't that close to them anymore. Fast forward to today. I live in another city with my fiance, Luke. Things are going well, I'm independent and happy, and my relationship with Luke is stable and full of love. He has given me all the affection I've been looking for my entire life and has been my support since we started dating 2 years ago. I've built a life I'm proud of, even if it's not tied to the family I grew up with. I visit them for holidays, and sometimes we talk on the phone, but that's it. I never allow myself to get too close to them, and honestly, I'm fine with that. I'm used to it and have finally accepted it. But that doesn't mean the void they left in my heart isn't still there. That's why I'm here, venting to a bunch of strangers about my family not loving me. Recently, things have changed a bit. Giannis just got engaged to an F named Peter, and now my family is reaching out to me. They want me to help with wedding preparations. I've received messages from my mom and dad asking if I'll help plan and maybe even attend Giannis's wedding. Giannis hasn't said much, but my parents seem insistent. They've tried to make it seem like a family affair that they want me to be involved in because it wouldn't be the same without me. We have to be united for Giannis's big day. I'm confused and honestly a little hurt. The same family that pushed me away and made me feel like I didn't belong is now asking me to be involved in something so important. I haven't had any deep conversations with Giannis since I was a little girl. She's never shown any interest in me as a sister, and now I'm supposed to act like everything is fine? It's fine, as if the years of emotional neglect never happened. But it's not just that. There's also the fact that even though I still visit them for holidays and stuff, I've spent a lot of my life trying to protect myself from the hurt they caused. It seems strange to even think about getting involved in something that could potentially open old wounds. On the other hand, I know Giannis is my sister, even if we never bonded that way. I just feel like maybe this is her way of trying to build a relationship with me, even though I don't know it yet. Maybe this is exactly what I need to have the family I've longed for so long. Maybe this is the way to fill the void in my heart. So, here I am, stuck and needing advice from you. Should I help Giannis with the preparations and use this opportunity as a way to fix things between us? Or should I continue protecting myself like I've been doing all this time? Luke thinks I should help if I want to. He says that it's my decision and it could be a way for me to reconnect with them. He's been nothing but understanding and really understands where I'm coming from. But I still can't help but feel confused about the whole thing. So I guess I just need some advice on whether this is worth my time or if I should keep my distance. So guys, please help me. That's all I can ask for. Update 1. It's been a few weeks since my initial post, and I wish I had some good news. I really thought this time things would be different. But now, sitting here raging, venting to a group of strangers, I realize I've been a complete fool. Honestly, I don't even know why I allowed myself to get trapped in this toxic family again. Maybe deep down, I just wanted to believe that my family finally cared, that maybe they had finally recognized my worth, and that I could finally start to fix things. Well, spoiler alert, they didn't. After writing here, I spent a few days reading the comments and thinking about what to do. Many of you were very understanding and understood my dilemma, encouraging me to try and give this a chance. Some were even harsh, calling me stupid for even considering this. I wish I had listened to you. So, as you may have understood, I decided to help my family with wedding preparations. Yes, I know I should have listened to my intuition or some of you who told me to stay away, but I thought maybe this was their way of trying to reconnect. I wasn't expecting miracles or a big family moment, but I figured if they were reaching out, there had to be some sincerity behind it. Wasn't I wrong? So, here's what exactly happened that has me so angry. I don't know what to do other than vent about it after I went and told my parents that I was willing to help with the preparations. Things were good for a while. I mean, my parents acted more attentive than they had ever been in my entire life. My mom even hugged me when I told her I would help. And considering I don't remember the last time she hugged me, this was something, though. Yes, it was weird. It was something I had been wanting for a long time. And just because of this, like the emotional fool I surely am, I let my guard down. I thought maybe they were trying to make up for all the years of neglect. I should have known it was too good to be true. As the plans progressed, I even bonded with Yanis like never before. It was like she finally acknowledged me as her sister. After all this time, it felt good. But that's when things got a little weird. Giannis started asking me for money. At first, it was just small things. A little extra here for the decorations, a payment for the deposit on the place, and she framed it there as if I didn't have any option and I needed to make the payments right away or I would lose the key. He told me I had a large payment coming up soon and promised that he would pay me back in a few days. Well, I didn't think much of it. I mean, I had no problem helping my sister since money wasn't an issue for me. But still, In the back of my mind, I felt a little skeptical about the whole thing. However, every time I hesitated, Yanis activated his charm, assuring me that it was just a temporary thing, that he would pay me back everything soon, and that he really wanted me to be part of the wedding. After all these years, I was finally feeling included, like the older sister I always wanted to be. I'm almost ashamed to admit how much I wanted that. So yes, I made some large payments. It didn't affect me much financially, but emotionally, I was still skeptical about whether everything that was happening was true or not. However, I decided to move forward thinking that I was helping my family and that this would be my way of contributing to my little sister's wedding. Once most of the preparations were done, Yanis dropped the bombshell. She told me she couldn't go to the wedding. After helping her make this wedding perfect, she told me she just couldn't go. She said she wanted the wedding to be blood family only, and since I was adopted, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to be there. I was in shock. At that moment, it was like I was struck by lightning because I just stood there stunned, trying to process what she was saying. Blood family. Just like I hadn't been there for her from the moment she was born. Like I wasn't the one who had just saved them with the wedding expenses. And suddenly, all my childhood insecurities came flooding back. That's when I realized they never wanted to fix things or reconnect with me. They just wanted to use me. Now that they've done it, they're throwing me away. They've always been like this, and I was the idiot, the naive one who thought things could change. I was the one who allowed them to use me and throw me away like trash. So I left immediately. I didn't say a word to Yanis or my parents. I didn't even look back. I just left. I was furious, and I still am. Part of me is angry at them, but another part is angry at myself for letting this happen. I should have known better. I should have trusted my instincts, but I didn't. Get carried away by some fairy tale where they finally wanted me. But I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely, totally done with them. Done with their lies, with being their forgotten daughter that they only remember when they need something. And now I'm planning something. I don't know if it will work or not, but they're not going to get away with it. They think they can treat me like trash and move on with your lives. Well, now you guys will have to face the consequences. I'll update you once I execute my plan. Until then, bye. Update 2. It's been a few days since my last update, and let's just say things have gotten interesting. Or rather, karma finally showed up and did its thing. The wedding was a few days ago, and guess what? My phone hasn't stopped ringing since then, and yes, it's my parents. They won't stop calling me. No, they're not calling to apologize or to talk about how what Yanis did was wrong and that she shouldn't have done it. In fact, they're calling to ask for my help. Apparently, Yanis is up to her neck in debt, and I think it's my fault. Remember when I mentioned I was planning something? After the whole blood family fiasco, well, I decided that if Yanis wanted to use me and then discard me like trash, she would have to face the consequences of her actions. So, after I calmed down enough to act, I went and canceled all the reservations I had made for her wedding. Every single one of them. The deposits, the payments, all part of my money was refunded. But of course, I didn't get everything back since some things were non-refundable, but I didn't care. That was the price I was willing to pay to watch Yanis struggle with what mattered most to her at that point, her wedding. Once I canceled some of the major arrangements, the wedding began to fall apart, and everything fell apart quickly. As soon as Yanis realized what she had done and saw her wedding falling apart, she started running around trying to reorganize everything at the last minute. And since everything was so rushed, she had to pay way more than I had originally paid. She was desperate, so she ended up taking out a huge loan to cover everything. Now she's up to her neck in debt because she thought that she could play with me and get away with it. Well, needless to say, the wedding was an absolute disaster. And yes, I mean, it was an okay wedding, but nothing compared to the perfect wedding I had helped plan for Yanis, given that all the arrangements were made last minute and rushed. The wedding was like a total circus, and Giannis was embarrassed, according to what I've been told, but at the end of the day, she got married, and that's what matters, I guess. Not apart from the fact that she's now in a huge amount of debt. That's why my parents haven't stopped calling me, trying to make me feel guilty again so I'd help her. They keep saying that Giannis is in a bad situation and that as her older sister, I'm responsible for taking care of her. Yes, really. Where was that older sister during her wedding? Oh, of course she wasn't invited because she's not related to her family. They even had the audacity to tell me that I should leave the past behind and be the more mature person. I laughed when they said that and told them I'm not a pod they can walk on when it suits them. Euconis is the one who caused this whole situation all by herself, and if she thought she could get away with it, I was wrong. Besides, I told them they should ask a blood relative for help, and with that, I hung up. Honestly, it feels good to finally stand up for myself. All my life, I've been the forgotten one, the odd one out, the one they only come to when they need something, but now they know I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. So now Yukonis is stuck with her mountain of debt, and my parents keep begging me to help her, but I don't care. I'm done with them and their toxic behavior. Let them deal with the mess they created. It's not my problem anymore. I guess that's it for my story, since I finally have some closure in my life, and I'm enjoying this peace with my fiancé. Well, except for the constant ringing of the phone, but that's what the block button is for. Anyway, thanks to everyone for the support throughout this. Update 3. Just when you thought it was over. I never thought I would be writing this update, but here we are, just a few days after the previous one, and all because my sister has reached limits I never knew existed. After everything that happened, I thought I was done with all of this. But of course, Yakonis had other plans and wasn't going to let me walk away so easily from everything. After I refused to help her, Yakonis must have been furious with me, blaming me for the situation she was in. She decided to go further and screw me over even more. A twisted idea in her mind, she thought she could get revenge on me, and honestly, it's comical how badly everything went wrong. Here's what happened a few days after I refused to help her with her debt. Yukana sent a bunch of fake photos to my fiancé. Luke had the nerve to tell him that he had seen me cheating on him the night before and that he was so sorry his sister had done something so embarrassing and broken his heart. It was even more there and told him that she was ashamed to be related to a cheater like me. The things that this woman did, all out of petty revenge for something she herself caused. She even added a ridiculous story about how she had always wanted the best for me but couldn't stand to see me lie to her. You see, in her mind, she thought she had played her cards well, but she was a fool because she didn't know my fiancé or the trust we shared. So this is what happened. As soon as Luke received those photos, he came straight to me. Not because he believed them, obviously, but because we both saw how pathetic this whole thing was and how petty she was being, and we laughed. Why are you asking? Well, because you'll see. The night in question, the night I was supposedly cheating on my loving fiancé, I was home with him all night. I didn't even leave the house for a minute. Luke and I were having a movie marathon, so we knew full well that all of this they were lies in a desperate attempt to sabotage our relationship. So we did the only reasonable thing we could do. We laughed. We laughed so hard because it was clear that Euconis was trying to drag me down with her. But this is where things get interesting. While we were laughing about the whole thing, I couldn't help but feel a rage inside me. I mean, this woman was trying to destroy the only good thing I had in my life, and I had to put her in her place because she couldn't keep messing with me. I wanted to teach her one final lesson once and for all. Don't get me wrong. Initially, I wasn't planning on doing this, but Yakonis left me. I had absolutely no other choice. Here's the thing. During the wedding preparations, I saw something that I kept to myself until now. Well, I saw Yakonis kissing another man. Yes, she was kissing someone who wasn't her husband. I even took pictures, not because I wanted to ruin her wedding or her future marriage, but because I had a feeling something was wrong. At that moment, I didn't say anything to anyone, thinking it wasn't my place to get involved. But now that Yanis tried to ruin my relationship, why should I care about her marriage, right? So I sent the photos to her husband, Peter, and told him everything. The man didn't waste a second before acting. At the end of the day, Eunice was kicked out of the house, and Peter filed papers for a divorce or annulment. I don't know, but at least I know they won't be together. Look, it's not something I'm really proud of, but like I said, Eunice left me with absolutely no choice. She was the one who started this, and I alone put an end to this whole circus, and now Eunice is practically ruined. She tried to go back to my parents, but not even they wanted her because they knew they'd be stuck with her mountain of debt. And since she doesn't work, they'd be the ones who would have to pay it. They no longer want to have anything to do with her disaster. So, where Eunice is now, I have no idea. She's on the streets living with some poor soul who doesn't know what she's getting into, but honestly, I don't care at all. She wanted to play with fire, and I brought her a shower of napalm to bring her the warmth she so desperately needed. Update 4. The first thing I wanted to tell you is that while my sister Eunice has learned a valuable lesson about not messing with me, that doesn't mean she's learned to behave decently with the rest of the world. It seems her capacity for getting into trouble is endless. And now she's decided to target our parents, not me. After her husband filed the case, Jan realized she was in a much more complicated situation than she imagined. Not only does she have the huge debt from the wedding, but she also urgently needs to find a job to pay off that debt and simply stay afloat. For years, she lived in the comfort of not having to worry about things like working or managing money, since she always had my parents or her husband covering for her. But now that she's lost both of their support, she's facing a reality she never thought she'd have to face. This is where things get even more ridiculous. Jan, instead of taking responsibility for her life, has decided to sue my parents. Yes, you read that right. She's suing them, and the reason is so absurd that I promise you'll laugh or get angry depending on how you view it. According to her, my parents should have paid for the entire wedding because, as her biological daughter, it was their obligation. Yana's logic is that since my parents decided to have her after years of infertility, everything related to her happiness, in this case her wedding, is her responsibility. Yes, I know, it sounds completely out of place, but in her head, it must be a brilliant plan. She's convinced that my parents forced her to ask for money for the wedding, and that's why she's now in debt. So basically, she's suing my parents to get back the money she had to borrow as if they were responsible for her mess. I can just imagine the judge's reaction when he reads the lawsuit. I'd love to be there just to see the look on his face when he has to deal with this crazy family story. I can't imagine any outcome other than stifled laughter at the absurdity of it all. It was Jan who was getting married, not my parents. If she wanted an extravagant wedding, she should have paid for it, or at least made smarter decisions. And we're not even gonna mention the fact that if she hadn't cheated on her husband, she probably wouldn't be in the situation in the first place. But of course, in Yana's head, we're all responsible for her bad decisions except for her. The irony is, of course, that Giannis isn't asking, Yana is just asking for the wedding debt to be paid. She's hinted that she wants my parents to take me away from the will, something that, at this point, I completely don't care about. Honestly, I'm not interested in what's left of them when time passes because I don't want anything from this family. I've worked hard to have my own life, and I'm happy with what I have, away from this chaos. So here I am, watching as my sister continues to sink deeper and deeper and drags everyone around her into her spiral of problems, and all I can think is, thank God I don't belong in this circus. It's as if I'm watching from the outside while the monkeys run around causing chaos. Edit. I don't think it warrants an update, but on demand, Giannis has gotten nowhere. People have asked me, and the result was more than obvious.